Hello everyone, welcome on board our journey through the pages of another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. Coming up, what to do to ensure the food we eat is healthy and safe, plus enhancing vector control. Sit with us for these and more.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, join us in helping to make Jamaica a safer place for all. Log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
It's always important to be careful and ensure that the foods we eat are safe, especially during the festive season when we tend to consume in abundance. You must take precautions to protect against any possible food poisoning. So here's some of what you can do.
Dangerous strains of bacteria such as E. coli and Salmonella can cause serious health problems when the food we eat become contaminated through improper handling and not being properly cooked. In light of the dangers, there are some important precautionary measures we must observe to protect our health.
We have to make sure we know where we're purchasing our food. If it's straight from the farms, if it's from the market, it's from the supermarket, it's from the meat shop. Ensure that it is clean. When you are preparing the food, ensure that you have a separate cutting board for meats, separate cutting board for vegetables, and you're constantly washing your hands. If you're going to eat out, ensure that the environment in which you're going to take your family is one where you can trust that the food is being prepared in a clean environment. We love our street food, and we encourage, as Consumer Protection Agency, we encourage that economic activity. But we're saying you're to take precautions as well. Ensure that your street food are from reputable person that you know you can trust.
Check the expiry date on food products before purchasing and check them again before cooking.
In food preparation as well, the education is to ensure that you separate the raw from the cooked. You know, the raw and the cooked is a totally different environment. So when you mix the two, that's when you have contamination. That's when you have food poisoning. That's when you have a member of the family who might end up in the hospital because they're either very young or they're elderly or their immune system has been compromised.
Discard any food that looks or smells questionable. Don't allow your food to stay open and accessible to flies. Containerize and refrigerate or freeze leftover food before 2 hours after cooking. And always store meats and seafood in sealed containers.
The second thing about food safety is you have large amounts of food laid out for a couple of hours or more, and the family keeps coming back, dipping, visitors coming, dipping. You have to ensure if you have the food out for more than 2 hours, hot food, be very careful, especially if you add sauces and other condiments on the food. It tends to go a little off early, and that is where you have problems if you have an elderly person or a young child. Make sure that you put that away early, that you don't put your family at risk, because food poisoning, most of us get well quickly, but it can lead to death if your immune system has been compromised. So we're saying be safe with your food. Ensure that when you package them and put them away, they're packaged in portions where when you take them out to reheat, You don't reheat the entire thing and then put it back in the refrigerator. So you apportion it according to what you're going to be using, so you don't increase the risk of food poisoning or any other bacteria entering the food.
Ensure meats are cooked thoroughly. Remember, improper food handling can mean the difference between a trip to the emergency room or enjoying a tasty meal.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Householders, business people, school administrators, be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET.
While we take the opportunity to have a good time with family and friends during this period of celebrations, we should all stay alert to the dangers in our environment. We remind everyone to play a part in eliminating the threats, even as the authorities lead efforts to curtail diseases such as those vector-borne.
Oh, that a helicopter a fly. Not the one AD's chip time. On the police, you not get no blind. Dirty Culex, the outsider cry. You don't believe that dengue is real. Who can't hear mosquito bite them a feel. Female, a search for a blood meal. To argue is like a KFC meal deal. Vector control, fight against Zika. Vector control, kill mosquito.
Dengue fever, mad me. They really tend to get to that the mosquito. But to me, that did look like small matter. Me just clap after the one that will come too close. But me never know say so much did in me. Oh, you see how them little ass sneaking?
Entertainment being shared here with strong personal responsibility messages for preventative measures as an army of 1,000 vector control aides and unit staff muster on the grounds of the National Heroes Circle. These are the Ministry of Health and Wellness's frontline assault on the mosquito population across Jamaica. Over the past few years, the ministry has introduced the Enhanced Vector Control Program as a component of its Integrated Vector Management Program to strategically control the mosquito population.
History, literature, and research tells us that if we enhance our vector control activities 2 or 3 months prior to your high transmission period, you're likely to reduce the possibility of an outbreak. And if you do get into an outbreak, to reduce the burden of same.
It is an attempt at educating the population, and we have to remind them of it almost every single year, because as Jamaicans we tend to forget when it's not a crisis, it don't matter until it becomes a crisis again. We have to be proactive.
Ridding our environment of the pesky Aedes aegypti mosquito requires every able member of our communities to engage in a sustained search to locate and destroy mosquito breeding sites. The ministry's trained vector control team plays an important role by visiting homes, distributing materials, inspecting and treating water storage facilities, and passing on information to individuals they meet.
We're focusing on this one because this one is the one that carries the deadly virus. The ZIKV, the CHIKV, the dengue in particular, but other viruses too.
Objects and containers holding water or water catchment areas within our surroundings are prime breeding sites.
75 of the times when we find mosquitoes breeding, it is in and around the home, and it was put there or left there by the householder who becomes the victim of the mosquito when it goes out and starts to bite and spread the virus.
The team of vector control workers have the role of ensuring householders recognize the dangers and that they take the necessary steps to secure their environment.
Cover your drums if you're storing water for usage. That you make sure your solid waste is properly packaged so that NSNAA can come and pick it up, or you can drop it off somewhere. That you empty out your vase that you have your flowers in, your freshly cut flowers on your dining room table or on your dresser to pretty up your house. You empty it periodically because it's water and it's a breeding site.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is making the employment of 1,000 vector control aides a standardized yearly feature of its operation. At the same time, the cadre of permanent vector control staff is being increased from 200 to 300, drawing from the pool of 1,000. All vector control aides received training and certification through the Heart Trust NTA, which empowered them with the skills they can use in many other jobs.
The training is about management and supervision. The training is about how to interact with people, customer service. The training is about deportment and personal conduct. Those are life skills that helps you to be a better individual and a more marketable individual.
Extra resources have been provided to support this much bigger team in the field in the form of logistics, transportation and equipment such as fogging machines. Some things they want every Jamaican to recognize includes the additional breeding sites that spring up during rainy times. Water collection containers should be securely covered so they don't become breeding grounds. And solid waste can be a harbor for these deadly pests. The Health and Wellness Ministry is collaborating with the National Solid Waste Management Authority and municipal corporations to ensure our environments are clean and mosquito-free. $130 million has been mobilized by the National Health Fund to finance the work.
The NSWMA stand ready to work with the Ministry of Health and all other partners because we have a mantra and we share it right across. Jamaica's beauty is our collective duty, and we want to have a safe environment for us, not us, but our children.
Be welcoming to those who are deployed in the field, the 1,200 or so vector workers who will visit your homes to allow them to assist you in identifying and destroying those breeding sites. The real response to dengue is not just about the treatment. That stage everybody would have been, the person would have been affected. It really is about how we prevent.
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the four corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. Your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
The Ministry of Local Government has been implementing several projects to improve lives of people in communities, in line with current policies for integrated development. We now join a panel discussion to look at some of the main projects and how the local authorities are transforming and improving their services.
Hello and welcome to OPM Connect, the program that gives you an insight into government's policies, programs and plans. I'm Naomi Francis. Today we look at local authorities and exactly what they're doing for you. What are the programs and plans that they have in place at the local level to benefit you? Well, today we're pleased to be joined by the Councillor Winston Mirage, the Mayor of Maypen. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. We also have Venetia Clark-Lee, the Regional Manager of the Board of Supervision for the local authorities. Welcome, ma'am. And also Mr. Junior Rose, the Senior Director, Strategic Policy Planning and Performance. That's a lot of things right there at the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. Thank you all so much for joining us. Let me just read and tell you that the Ministry of Local Government actually continues to implement several programs and projects that touch the lives of several people in communities, and that you are also reflecting a lot of the policies of government that we have now in place. So let me start off with Mayor Mirage, because you actually get your hands dirty. You're on the ground as councillor and mayor. Talk to us a little bit about really what the local authorities have been doing to ensure that government policies are implemented.
Oh, well, as you know, we have a team of councillors who represent different electoral divisions.
Yes.
So we do have 228 councillors, and plus the mayor of Portmore.
Yes.
Who will tell you he's not a councillor. He was directly elected.
He was directly elected,
right.
That's correct.
And so our councillors are always on the ground. And when I say always, since this minister came in, you have to be always on the ground, because this minister keeps us on our toes. Yes, very active one.
Yes.
And since he came up the system in the local government.
Having been a mayor himself.
Having been a
Kingston.
mayor for many years and councillor since 1977, I can recall. So he knows the ropes, as we say. So he has us on our toes. And he has been doing some things for the councillors. Subsequently, the people on the ground. That was never done before. Has never happened before. Things such as make sure that we have funds to keep our drains cleared whenever we move it into the rainy seasons. He's also assisted us with education funds so we can assist some of our poor people on the ground to send back their children to school. He also assists us with social housing programs, which is like building materials, so you can help a little indigent person here and there.
And you know, recently
materials.
the Prime Minister toured several of the indigent housing facilities in the Kingston area, so we got a chance to see firsthand really what's happening. And certainly government policy is coming shortly, as he had announced, to ensure that we deal with that.
Of course.
Yes.
So councillors are now, put it this way, rivaling the members of parliament. Yeah, because we're able to do things, all right, that we weren't able previously to do.
Right.
And that's all in addition to our regular road fixing and trade cleaning, which we have that separately. And at this time of the year, you know, we go into beautification projects.
Right. And I want to talk a little bit about the beautification projects shortly, especially at the amount allocated having been announced 2 weeks ago by the Prime Minister. Let me get to Mr. Junior Rose, who looks at strategic planning for the ministry. Tell us about exactly what those main projects that the ministry has that are on the books right now, and what are the achievements so far?
Well, there are a number of projects, and we would categorize them under the portfolio entities. And as you know, we are responsible for the Board of Supervision, and Ms. Lee is here. We are responsible for the OPM, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, as well as we're responsible for the Social Development Commission, and as well as Jamaica Fire Brigade and so on, and municipal corporations. The reality is that our big projects are within the context of these, and some of the projects that we have, and I will name one that is dear to me, is the Youth Employment Program and the Youth Core Program, which employs over 12,000 young persons.
12,000 young people?
Over 12,000 over the period. It was actually first year the Prime Minister was a guest speaker, and this was coming out of an understanding of what are some of the things that are needed as a local government sector, that we can improve the services that we offer to our citizens, or we can improve. And one of the critical things that they undertake is data collection. So for instance, your street light, because everything local government does touches the lives of each and every person. Street light, you know that over $7 billion were paid off, yes, as it pertains to street light. The information would have been also based on the data that we would have collected. And that's what we're talking about, 12,000. Separate and apart from that, we retained over 600 persons that are in the system, working with us, working with the local authorities.
These are young people from that 12,000 who remain in the employ of local authorities.
And in addition, also, we certify them. We certify them with Heart Trust. So we have a joint agreement with Heart Trust, and they are being certified. So at the end of the day, it is joint government. Everything is linked, and you talk about strategic planning, and that is what it is. At the top level, the priorities of the government are articulated, but at the bottom level, what we do on the ground level feeds up to that, the national priorities, and there is where we bridge the gap.
Indeed, that sounds very, very good.
Yes.
So let me get to the issue of the infirmaries now, because that's a major plank of what the ministry does. Tell us a little bit more about that, Venetia.
So the ministry, through the Board of Supervision, monitors and supervises the infirmaries, and every parish across the island has an infirmary. So what we do, we ensure that the residents there are cared and protected. We're monitored by the Poor Relief Act. We're guided by the Poor Relief Act, which stipulates how the person should be treated there and who can be admitted to the facilities. Most recently, all infirmaries got autoclave machines that are used to help them to sterilize material for dressing of wounds. They have been given generators in most recent time. There is construction taking place across 5 infirmaries across the island, new construction. So additional wards, just uplifting the facility overall. So on like a week or two ago, we were in St. Elizabeth for Local Government Month, and it was a volunteer day in St. Elizabeth, and they opened a new therapeutic park, the first of any infirmary in the island, and that is something that we're going to try to do across.
Very good. In terms of the achievements of the ministry, because certainly the Minister Mackenzie has really been doing a lot to transform local government, and certainly we've seen a lot in terms of improvements with the National Solid Waste Management Authority in terms of getting trucks, in terms of the fire department and getting more trucks. What are some of the others?
Well, I mean, let us go to the National Solid Waste Management Authority. For the first time, they are fully compliant where it concerns their governance. We're talking about the PBMA Act that speaks to your annual report. For the very first time, Minister tabled the final report in Parliament only about a week ago. And so from that, the governance level, that has improved tremendously. Also, over 45 trucks were obtained, and that's as good, because we're talking about, we're looking, and I'm sure, it will work over the next year. A number, and a number was given, I think 100 trucks that are supposed to come in. And also the collection, they are above target in terms of the collections of the garbage. So we're talking about 900,000 tons that they have collected, which is above the target. I think the target was 800,000.
Yes, we have a team from NSWMA on this program as well.
Excellent, excellent. And Jamaica Fire Brigade, the same in terms of the number of trucks that were actually purchased and so on. So, I mean, 10 trucks. No, so that is just one, because there are a number of other areas. Mayor Marad spoke about the education fund. It's a municipal social assistance fund, which is the first time, it's new, yes, which include education, as Mayor said, education, social housing, indigent housing, among others, as well as to modernize how it is that councillors interface with their constituents, and so that the tablets are also distributed as a part of the program. And we're
so
talking
technology
about
is
over
being
100,000
infused in the entire process
entire
at the
process,
ground level as
at
well.
the ground level. So we're talking about over 100,000 persons who would have been directly or indirectly benefit. And I think it is more than that. But the point I'm making is that the transformation of local government is happening.
Viewers, it's been OPM Connect. Happy holidays to you.
On the board this week, the Salt Spring New Testament Church of God, Montego-based St. James, will host its inaugural awards banquet under the theme The Power of Togetherness. It will be an evening of excellence on Saturday, December 28 at the Holy Trinity Anglican Church Hall. Start time is 6:30 p.m. Also on the community notice board, the Jamaica Youth Chorale Christmas Concert Series continues this Sunday and Thursday at the Philip Sherlock Center on the UWI Mona campus. Come indulge in the Christmas joy. Call or WhatsApp 876-581-4364 for details. The Coralville Garden Citizens Association invites residents to their Christmas tree lighting to be held at the Community Center on Sunday, December 15 from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come out early and bring the children for a wholesome family event. And that's all for your community notices this Saturday. If you have an event to share on our notice board, give us a call at 876-922-8680 or email cbishop@jis.gov.jm.
My name is Bruce Croxon. I'm the founder of a fund called Round 13 Capital that invests in Canadian technology companies. My ties to Jamaica go way back because my mother's actually from the island. She comes from the parish of St. Mary, and so some of my very earliest memories are of visiting the island. I think Jamaica is an incredibly special place to visit. It starts with the terrain. I mean, it's physically a beautiful island. I mean, you go from high mountains to some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, and you can get some amazing views, you get some amazing cultures, and you get some amazing greenery the further you get from the sea. What people don't know about Jamaica is that there is an incredible number of side trips and explorations that you can do. There's some incredible adventure to be had, whether that's hiking in the Blue Mountains, or surfing on the North Coast. A lot of people don't associate Jamaica with surf. There's some good surf there. Jamaica is much more than tourist destinations. There's a whole island to be explored and probably more smiles per capita than any other country I've visited. So I've always felt very welcome there.
We've come to the close of Jamaica Magazine for today. We hope you've been enlightened and ask that you join us again tomorrow for more. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website at jis.gov.jm or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's both Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, wishing you a safe and peaceful season.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.